MTC. Unit 18 No Analysis. In one study, researchers asked pairs of strangers to sit down in a room and chat. In half of the rooms, a cell phone was placed on a nearby table, in the other half, no phone was present. After the conversations had ended, the researchers asked the participants what they thought of each other. Here's what they learned: when a cell phone was present in the room, the participants reported the quality of their relationship was worse than those who talked in a cell phone-free room. The pairs who talked in the rooms with cell phones thought their partners showed less empathy. Think of all the times you've sat down to have lunch with a friend and set your phone on the table. You might have felt good about yourself because you didn't pick it up to check your messages, but your unchecked messages were still hurting your connection with the person sitting across from you. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC. Unit 18 No 01. Nancy Lowry and David Johnson conducted an experiment to study a teaching environment where 5th and 6th graders were assigned to interact on a topic. Nancy Lowry, David Johnson 5-6. With one group, the discussion was led in a way that built an agreement. With the second group, the discussion was designed to produce disagreements about the right answer. Students who easily reached an agreement were less interested in the topic, studied less, and were less likely to visit the library to get additional information. The most noticeable difference, though, was revealed when teachers showed a special film about the discussion topic during lunchtime. Only 18% of the agreement group missed lunchtime to see the film, but 45% of the students from the disagreement group stayed for the film. 1845. The thirst to fill a knowledge gap to find out who was right within the group can be more powerful than the thirst for slides and jungle gyms. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC. Unit 18 No 02. A woman named Rhonda who attended the University of California at Berkeley had a problem. Berkeley, California. Rhonda. She was living near campus with several other people, none of whom knew one another. When the cleaning people came each weekend, they left several rolls of toilet paper in each of the 2 bathrooms. However, by Monday all the toilet paper would be gone. It was a classic tragedy of the commons situation. Because some people took more toilet paper than their fair share, the public resource was destroyed for everyone else. After reading a research paper about behavior change, Rhonda put a note in one of the bathrooms asking people not to remove the toilet paper, as it was a shared item. Rhonda. To her great satisfaction, one roll reappeared in a few hours, and another the next day. In the other note-free bathroom, however, there was no toilet paper until the following weekend, when the cleaning people returned. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC. Unit 18 No 03. In their study in 2007, Catherine Kinsler and her colleagues at Harvard showed that our tendency to identify with an in-group to a large degree begins in infancy and may be innate. 2007 Catherine Kinsler. Kinsler and her team took a bunch of 5-month-olds whose families only spoke English and showed the babies 2 videos. Kinsler 5. In one video, a woman was speaking English. In the other, a woman was speaking Spanish. Then they were shown a screen with both women side by side, not speaking. In infant psychology research, the standard measure for affinity or interest is attention. Babies will apparently stare longer at the things they like more. In Kinsler's study, the babies stared at the English speakers longer. Kinsler. In other studies, researchers have found that infants are more likely to take a toy offered by someone who speaks the same language as them. Psychologists routinely cite these and other experiments as evidence of our built-in evolutionary preference for our own kind. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC. Unit 18 No 04. One way that music could express emotion is simply through a learned association. Perhaps there is nothing naturally sad about a piece of music in a minor key, or played slowly with low notes. Maybe we have just come to hear certain kinds of music as sad because we have learned to associate them in our culture with sad events like funerals. If this view is correct, we should have difficulty interpreting the emotions expressed in culturally unfamiliar music. Totally opposed to this view is the position that the link between music and emotion is one of resemblance. For example, when we feel sad we move slowly and speak slowly and in a low-pitched voice. Thus when we hear slow, low music, we hear it as sad. If this view is correct, we should have little difficulty understanding the emotion expressed in culturally unfamiliar music. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC. Unit 18 No. 05. Have you noticed that some coaches get the most out of their athletes while others don't? A poor coach will tell you what you did wrong and then tell you not to do it again. Don't drop the ball. What happens next? The images you see in your head are images of you dropping the ball. Naturally, your mind recreates what it just saw based on what it's been told. Not surprisingly, you walk on the court and drop the ball. What does the good coach do? He or she points out what could be improved, but will then tell you how you could or should perform. I know you'll catch the ball perfectly this time. Sure enough, the next image in your mind is you catching the ball and scoring a goal. Once again, your mind makes your last thoughts part of reality, but this time, that reality is positive, not negative. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC. Unit 18 No. 06. While there are many evolutionary or cultural reasons for cooperation, the eyes are one of the most important means of cooperation, and eye contact may be the most powerful human force we lose in traffic. It is, arguably, the reason why humans, normally a quite cooperative species, can become so non-cooperative on the road. Most of the time we are moving too fast, we begin to lose the ability to keep eye contact around 20 miles per hour, or it is not safe to look. 20. Maybe our view is blocked. Often other drivers are wearing sunglasses, or their car may have tinted windows. And do you really want to make eye contact with those drivers? Sometimes we make eye contact through the rear view mirror, but it feels weak, not quite believable at first, as it is not face-to-face. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC. Unit 18 No. 07. The perception of the same amount of discount on a product depends on its relation to the initial price. In one study, respondents were presented with a purchase situation. The persons put in the situation of buying a calculator that cost $15 found out from the vendor that the same product was available in a different store 20 minutes away and at a promotional price of $10. 152010. In this case, 68% of respondents decided to make their way down to the store in order to save $5. 68% 5. In the second condition, which involved buying a jacket for $125, the respondents were also told that the same product was available in a store 20 minutes away and cost $120 there. 12520120. This time, only 29% of the persons said that they would get the cheaper jacket. 29%. In both cases, the product was $5 cheaper, but in the first case, the amount was 1/3 of the price, and in the second, it was 1/25 of the price. 5.31251. What differed in both of these situations was the price context of the purchase. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC. Unit 18 No. 08. In a study, psychologist Lawrence Steinberg of Temple University and his co-author, psychologist Margot Gardner divided 306 people into 3 age groups: young adolescents, with a mean age of 14, older adolescents, with a mean age of 19, and adults, aged 24 and older. Temple Lawrence Steinberg Margot Gardner 306-14-19-24. Subjects played a computerized driving game in which the player must avoid crashing into a wall that appears, without warning, on the roadway. Steinberg and Gardner randomly assigned some participants to play alone or with 2 same-age peers looking on. Steinberg Gardner. Older adolescents scored about 50% higher on an index of risky driving when their peers were in the room, and the driving of early adolescents was fully twice as reckless when other young teens were around. 50. In contrast, adults behaved in similar ways regardless of whether they were on their own or observed by others. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC. Unit 18 No. 09. In one experiment, subjects observed a person solve 30 multiple-choice problems. 30. In all cases, 15 of the problems were solved correctly. 15. One group of subjects saw the person solve more problems correctly in the first half, and another group saw the person solve more problems correctly in the second half. The group that saw the person perform better on the initial examples rated the person as more intelligent and recalled that he had solved more problems correctly. The explanation for the difference is that one group formed the opinion that the person was intelligent on the initial set of data, while the other group formed the opposite opinion. Once this opinion is formed, when opposing evidence is presented, it can be discounted by attributing later performance to some other cause such as chance or problem difficulty. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC. Unit 18 Number 10. We cannot predict the outcomes of sporting contests, which vary from week to week. This heterogeneity is a feature of sport. It is the uncertainty of the result and the quality of the contest that consumers find attractive. For the sport marketer, this is problematic, as the quality of the contest cannot be guaranteed. No promises can be made in relations to the result, and no assurances can be given in respect of the performance of star players. Unlike consumer products, sport cannot and does not display consistency as a key feature of marketing strategies. The sport marketer therefore must avoid marketing strategies based solely on winning, and must instead focus on developing product extensions such as the facility, parking, merchandise, souvenirs, food, and beverages rather than on the core product, that is, the game itself. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC. Unit 18 Number 11. At the Leipzig Zoo in Germany, 34 zoo chimpanzees and orangutans participating in a study were each individually tested in a room, where they were put in front of two boxes. Leipzig Zoo 34. An experimenter would place an object inside one box and leave the room. Another experimenter would enter the room, move the object into the other box and exit. When the first experimenter returned and tried retrieving the object from the first box, the great ape would help the experimenter open the second box, which it knew the object had been transferred to. However, most apes in the study did not help the first experimenter open the second box if the first experimenter was still in the room to see the second experimenter move the item. The findings show the great apes understood when the first experimenter still thought the item was where he or she last left it. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC. Unit 18 Number 12. Recent studies point to the importance of warm physical contact for healthy relationships with others. In one study, participants who briefly held a cup of hot, versus iced, coffee judged a target person as having a warmer personality, generous, caring. In another study, participants holding a hot, versus cold, pack were more likely to choose a gift for a friend instead of something for themselves. These findings illustrate that mere contact experiences of physical warmth activate feelings of interpersonal warmth. Moreover, this temporarily increased activation of interpersonal warmth feelings then influences judgments toward other people in an unintentional manner. Such feelings activated in one context last for a while thereafter and have influence on judgment and behavior in later contexts without the person's awareness. MTC. Good job.